Alright, dickheads, so this is how I do things. So, what I used to do is I would take this picture of Spider-Man, and I would drop in these shadows. Basically, I'd just take a normal brush, and here, I'll drop out the background so you can see it. Take a normal brush and just draw in the shadows that I wanted. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward for the shadows. One second. I take that and just change the opacity. It's pretty effective as far as colors go, and then you just change the opacity depending on how harsh the light is. Yeah, I mean, it gets the job done. And then the same thing goes for the lighting. I would take a white brush and just go over it, over where I wanted the light to be, and then I change the opacity. Now, the adding the white is a lot less effective than the shadows, which is kind of why I changed how I do stuff. So I'll get rid of those. Now, since the light source is over here, since the light source is over here, now I take those same folders, those same layers of shadow. In fact, I'm going to touch that up a little bit because, whoops. Whoops. Damn it. Now, I'm going to do this thing called select contents. And then I'm going to disable that layer. Now that I've selected that, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to take this shadow layer and I'm going to actually blur it. With shadows, you don't want to be too liberal with the blur because now there is on every shadow sort of what I call a second shadow, which is softer on the edges. But since it's a person, we have a lot of sharp lines and stuff, especially on clothes. So that blur is kind of gentle and very slight. So you just want it enough that it's clear that it's a shadow, but not so much that it looks airbrushed. And then, yeah, I change the opacity. I don't know. I'm tired. Okay. I do this thing called select contents. Now that I've selected this layer, I can change the brightness of this layer itself rather than just putting black over it. Now, with shadows, you want less color because it makes the shadows harsher. So the further this bottom bar goes down, the more I kind of touch on this one until I get the result that I want. But there we go. That's probably for that. So it just produces a more natural thing with coloring, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this white. Now you can be a little bit more liberal with the blur on this one because light reflects a lot better. And then I'm going to select contents. And with this one, it's the opposite. When you increase the brightness, you want to increase the saturation so it doesn't feel fake. It comes off more photorealistic that way. And if if the light source is depending on the color, you can change sort of the tint. So it gives his suit kind of a different feel. and it makes the webbing glisten a little bit. So yeah, there you have it. It just produces way more realistic results. So